Have you ever heard something you weren't supposed to hear? Something that knew you were listening? This is the story of Maya Torres, a woman who moved into the wrong apartment and discovered that some signals never stop broadcasting. This happened in Portland, Oregon, last fall, and if you're listening to this between 2:47 a.m. and 3:13 a.m., you might want to check your audio. Maya had just moved into apartment 4B in the Pearl District. It was one of those old converted buildings from the 1920s, high ceilings, exposed brick, the kind of place that looks great on Instagram. She was a podcast editor, freelance, which meant she worked weird hours, usually late into the night, headphones on, trimming audio and cleaning up sound files. It was around 2 in the morning when she first heard it. She was editing a true crime episode, some story about a missing person in Ohio, and beneath the host's voice, underneath all the layers of audio, there was something else. Static, crackling, and then a voice. At first, Maya thought it was interference, maybe a radio station bleeding through. It happens sometimes with cheap equipment. But her setup wasn't cheap, and this voice, it was too clear. She isolated the frequency, pulled it into its own track, and listened. The voice was male, calm, almost mechanical, and it said her name. Maya. She ripped off her headphones, looked around her apartment. The windows were locked. She was 6 floors up. There was no one else there. She told herself she imagined it. Fatigue, too much coffee. She saved her project and went to bed. But she didn't sleep well that night. The next night, Maya stayed up on purpose. She wanted to prove to herself that she'd imagined the whole thing. At exactly 2:47 a.m., her audio interface lit up. Signal detected. The voice came through her speakers, clear as day. The kitchen light flickers. She hasn't replaced it yet. Maya's stomach dropped. Her kitchen light did flicker. She'd been meaning to change the bulb. The voice continued. The window by the fire escape doesn't lock properly. She checked it twice tonight. Maya's skin go cold. She had checked that window twice an hour ago. She's listening now, the voice said. Good. That makes the signal stronger. Maya slammed her laptop shut, unplugged everything, sat in the dark, heart pounding. Someone was watching her, but how? There were no cameras. She checked when she moved in, and her equipment was offline, completely offline. So how was this possible? The next morning, Maya knocked on apartment 4A. Her neighbor, Derek, answered. He was in his early 30s, worked from home, seemed normal enough. Do you ever hear weird sounds at night, like voices or broadcasts? Derek's expression changed, just for a second, something like recognition. You hear them too? He said quietly. He invited her in, made coffee, and told her about the previous tenant. Her name was Claire. She'd lived in 4B for 3 months before moving out suddenly. No forwarding address. She told Derek the same thing Maya was experiencing. Now, voices in her recordings, a broadcast that only played in the middle of the night. What happened to her? Maya asked. Derek shook his head. No idea. She left all her stuff, just disappeared. The landlady, Mrs. Caldwell, she won't talk about it, says Claire broke her lease and that's that. Maya felt sick. Did Claire ever figure out where the voices were coming from? Derek said, she said something about the walls, that the building used to be something else, before it was apartments. Maya spent the afternoon at the library, digging through old records, newspaper archives, building permits, and she found it. In 1952, the 4th floor of her building housed a radio station, KPRL. It broadcast local news and music until December of that year, when the station manager, Vincent Hale, died during a live broadcast. Heart attack, alone in the booth.
Dead air for 16 minutes before anyone found him. The station shut down after that. The space was sealed. In the 80s, the building was converted into apartments. The broadcast booth was walled over, hidden. Apartment 4B was built right on top of it. That night, Maya didn't want to be in her apartment, but she had a deadline, a client waiting, so she stayed. At 2:47 a.m., the broadcast started again. But this time, Vincent's voice gave her instructions. Go to your hallway, count 13 steps, then turn left. The wall is thin there. Press your ear against it. Every instinct told Maya to ignore it, to pack a bag and leave. But something else, something stronger, made her follow the instructions. She counted 13 steps, turned left, and pressed her ear to the wall. She heard crying, a woman's voice, sobbing, begging someone to let her out. It was coming from inside the walls. Maya tore into her closet, ripped down the wallpaper, and found it. A door, painted over, plastered shut, sealed for decades. She pried it open with a kitchen knife. The wood cracked, the plaster crumbled. Behind it was a tiny room, no bigger than a closet, the original broadcast booth. Dust covered everything, but in the center, on a small table, were stacks of reel-to-reel tapes, each one labeled with a name and a date. Jennifer, day 8. Samantha, day 15. Claire, day 23. Maya's hands were shaking. She found a tape player in the corner, still plugged in, still working. She played Claire's tape. Vincent's voice filled the room, narrating Claire's life in horrifying detail, where she went, what she ate, how many times she checked the locks, what she was afraid of. And at the end, Vincent's voice said, "She's ready now. Fear makes the signal stronger. She'll join the others." Maya ejected the tape, and that's when she saw it. A blank tape sitting on top of the pile, labeled in fresh ink. Maya, day 1. Her tape recorder, the one in her apartment, clicked on by itself. Vincent's voice, live. "Hello, Maya. You've been very helpful. You found the booth. You listened. And now, you'll broadcast beautifully." The lights went out. In the darkness, Maya heard footsteps, not from the hallway, from inside the walls. Multiple sets, shuffling, dragging. The sealed door behind her began to rattle. She ran. Maya broke her lease that night, lost her security deposit, moved across town to a different building, different neighborhood. She didn't tell anyone what happened. Who would believe her? For 3 weeks, everything was normal, quiet, safe. She started to think she'd imagined the worst of it, stress, lack of sleep. But then, 3 weeks later, she was editing a client's podcast, 2:47 in the morning, and the broadcast came back. But this time, it wasn't Vincent's voice. It was hers. She thinks she got away. She's in a new apartment now, 5th floor, northeast corner. The window by the bathroom doesn't lock properly. She checked it twice tonight. Maya's heart stopped. She frantically searched her apartment and found it behind an air vent near the ceiling. A microphone, vintage, 1950s. The recording light was on. Vincent's voice came through the walls one last time. "Welcome to the permanent broadcast, Maya. Population 7. Maya Torres was reported missing on November 3, 2024. Her landlord found her apartment empty, no signs of struggle, just one thing left behind, a reel-to-reel tape on her desk, labeled Maya, Day 1. Police never found her, but if you're listening to this right now, check the time, and if it's between 2:47 a.m. and 3:13 a.m., you might want to check your audio, because Vincent's broadcast never ends, and he's always looking for new voices.